Hardly hear each other. Larry Sharpe has traveled the country and has personally visited every county in New York State, listening to people's concerns. The Sharpe Way is a show where answers, solutions, and common ground can be found so that together we can forge a new way forward. The Sharpe Way is the way to mutual respect, where no one has to convert to be heard, because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you aren't forcing your beliefs on others. Welcome to Sharpe Way Radio.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Happy to be here with you on WYSL, Rochester, New York, Sharpe Way Radio. The number to call if you want to chat after our first break, 585 346 3000. And some stuff happened over the weekend, as is usual here in New York City. And I want you to think about something, if you would. Imagine, or maybe remember, because that actually happened. You're in a subway in New York with other people there, and the man comes in who looks to you as if the person's homeless, and it looks to you as if the person may be dealing with a mental issue, some kind of episode. He walks into your car and starts yelling how he wants to kill people, doesn't care if he's going to die, all those types of things, and moves towards one of the female passengers in your subway car. You decide, in this case, you are a young male, you decide you're going to stop him. You and two other guys jump him to stop him. That guy dies. Terrible. Horrible. Horrible that that guy was in that situation. Horrible that you felt you had to do something. And horrible that guy died. Bad all around. With bad all around, who will the city say is the bad guy? Who will be 100% responsible for that? You. 100%. It's your fault. Now, you might say, Larry, I killed the guy. He died. I didn't have to kill the guy. Accurate. You didn't have to. I agree. Does that make you the 100% bad guy? Does that make you the 100% wrong guy? In New York? Yes. Will we even discuss anything else? We won't. Will we just want to put you in prison? Yes. Will we put you in jail? Yes. But Larry, a guy died, he's wrong. Okay. I can argue that, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that discussion. Let's change the discussion then. You're not in a subway. You're an older gentleman, your 50s or 60s, and you're working in a store. Young lady comes in, doesn't have enough money to buy what she wants to buy, expects you to give it to her. You say, no, I work at a store. I can't give you this stuff for free. No. You don't call the cops. She physically smacks you, yells and calls you names, threatens that she's going to get her boyfriend who's going to come back and take care of you. She threatens that. You go whatever. You don't call the cops. You let her go. She goes. Got a kid with her. You don't want to be a jerk. A few minutes later, a man comes to you. He is 20 years younger than you, physically bigger than you, physically stronger than you, threatens you and begins to punch you and pummel you. You have no idea what he's going to do. Is he going to beat you to death? Is he going to break your arm? Is he going to smack you and walk away? You just know he's hitting you right now. You are completely outmatched. You grab the nearest thing, which is a knife, defend yourself by stabbing him. In this case, a lot of stuff happened. The guy dies. The guy died. Again, terrible that this young woman couldn't afford her groceries. That's a terrible thing. Terrible that you're stuck here in this situation. Terrible. Terrible some guy thinks his answer is violence. He's going to come beat you up. Also terrible. Terrible you had to stab a guy. And terrible that he died. So whose fault? Whose fault is that? Well, again, it's yours. You're going to jail. That's it. You're going to jail. No one's going to talk about anything. No one's going to explain all the other things around that help make that happen. No, you're going to jail. So what was your response the first time? Well, let the woman get accosted in the subway. She's a victim. You have to watch. You're a victim. What if he wants to come after you? You can't defend yourself. The store owner found that out. You're a victim. In every case, you're a victim. Well, you might go, Larry, this is the problem you're missing. In each case, the death sentence was meted out by the civilian. That's the thing you're missing, Larry. They killed a guy. So of course they got to go to jail. You're missing that. All right. I'll give you that. I'll have a conversation on that. Let's go one more scenario. You're in a subway. You're on a platform. And you're scared in New York City subways, as you have a right to be if you've watched the news or paid attention. And now you see a gentleman who, again, to you seems like he's homeless. You don't know, but it looks that way. That's the image he's projecting. He goes to a woman. He has a weapon. And he threatens her and says she better give him all her goods or he's going to hurt her. He threatens her. You hear him threaten her. You draw your firearm and you don't shoot him. You tell him to stop. He doesn't. You fire a warning shot. You don't kill him. You stop the crime. And in this case, clearly a crime. The woman says so. Everybody says so. No one's confused about this. So you don't shoot him. There's no murder. No one's killed. No manslaughter. Nobody dies. You stop the crime. So whose fault is this? It's yours. You're going to jail. Yes. Okay, wait a minute. Larry, here's what you're missing. It isn't that you kill or didn't kill. That isn't the point. The point is the cops are supposed to stop it. You have to have more police presence. Okay. I'll buy that one too. I'm going all the way down the road with you. Now you're a cop. In fact, you're a cop so long, so savvy, you've been in the police force 16, 17 years. That's how long you've been around. New York City cop. You've been promoted. You're an officer. You're wearing your uniform. So everyone knows. Got all the badges and the ribbons. Badge. You're good. You show up. There's an altercation, a crime about to be committed. You say, stop. You don't even draw your weapon. You're a cop in uniform in a subway. Stop. Don't do this. And the two people beat you to the point where you go into the hospital. That's where we are in New York. The people don't respect the cops. They literally beat them. Again, uniformed officer who is doing the right, who could have drawn his weapon and just started firing and would have got away with it. It's New York. You could have done it. Didn't. The cop does the right thing. Doesn't draw his weapon. Doesn't start shooting. What's his reward? Hospital. Beaten with permanent damage to his face. That's his reward for not shooting. So if you shoot, you go to jail. If you stab, you go to jail. You fire a warning shot so that you don't have to kill anybody, you go to jail. You're a cop who doesn't shoot the homeless guy. You go to hospital. Am I wrong here? Am I the nutty person here? This is what my state is now. And the worst part is, nothing's going to change. The four things I told you, as you know, if you've been paying attention, have actually happened. All four of those things happened in New York City in the last 2 years. The last two I mentioned happened over the weekend. I'm not making this up. This is really happening to the point where we cannot defend ourselves. We are becoming a state full of victims. And now even our cops are victims. So everybody's a victim now. Everyone's a victim. In fact, when you're the perpetrator, if you get your, I will say, if you get what's coming to you, how about that? Is that safe to say on the air? If you get what might be coming to you, you're a victim. Everybody's a victim. I'm not sure who isn't. How can this state, how can this city, and I will go even further, how can this nation have success? How can it grow? How can it get better if no one is responsible and we're all victims? It can't. Someone has to be responsible. Someone has to take charge. And people will get upset. They called the guy from last weekend who fired a warning shot at vigilante. What else is he supposed to do? Just let everything collapse? Maybe that's what they want. Am I being conspiracy guy? You can tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe here in WYSL Rochester, New York. Sharpe Way Radio. Back with your calls and the chat after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
To live the quality of life we deserve in truth and freedom, informed by our Constitution, our laws, and traditions, we need to pick the best leaders possible. Recent experience certainly illustrates that. Free and accurate elections are essential if we're going to restore our society and safeguard our rights. New York Citizens Audit is a volunteer, nonpartisan group which has been lobbying for open source audits of the State Board of Elections and reform of the electoral process statewide. Did you know Citizens Audit has uncovered over 1 million felony violations of election law? That in 2020, there were 625,000 more voter registrations than existing voting age citizens in just 6 New York counties, that there were 338,000 more votes cast than voters who voted. These are just a few shocking examples of the urgent need for reform. You can help. Visit auditny.com and learn the facts, how to volunteer, and make a difference in your community. Again, volunteer, donate, or spread the word. Start at auditny.com. That's auditny.com.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Yes, it is Larry Sharpe back here on Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL Rochester, New York, 585-346-3000. You know, before the break, I was talking about how many victims we have in New York State. And someone in the chat mentioned everyone loses. And the part that I really want to bring up here is, as funny or as trite, maybe that's better, as trite as that sounds, it's real. Think about this. What are we teaching people around us? Don't stand up for yourself. Let people be hurt. Let people be broken. Let people be robbed. Let people be disrespected. Allow it. Let it. Walk away. That translates not just into, I'm not going to mess around with some guy who wants to stab somebody, but I'm also not going to vote. I'm also not going to care about my local election. I'm also not going to run for office. I'm also not going to help out the poor. I'm also not going to join my community center. I'm also not going to join my civic center. I'm also not going to join my church. I'm not going to care. I'm going to go into my home, get online somehow, live in front of a screen, and that's my life. They might say, Larry, it's kind of a stretch, isn't it? Is it? When everybody loses, then eventually nobody cares. When people think I can't win, when they think I cannot win, no matter what I do, I lose. No matter what happens, everyone around me loses. Everyone around me loses. Well, then why bother? What am I doing? You're creating a world where nobody cares. So who does care? The people who are in charge. Absolutely. Zach posts, dependency on the state leads to consolidation of power, corruption, and control. Yes, that is my point, Zach. I agree with you completely. The really funny part about this is that Zach is saying it as if it's a flaw. And for Zach and I, it is a flaw. But for the people doing it, that's the feature. Like, that's what it's for. They're not mad about that outcome. They're like, that's great. That's the whole point. It's working. Well done, guys. They're patting themselves in the back. Zach and I are in the bathroom crying, and they're patting themselves on the back. And we're saying, what's wrong with these people? And what we should be saying, Zach, is, what's wrong with us? They got the plan, and it's working. So, yeah, absolutely. They're not as crazy as one might think. Joe says, everyone should have equality by law to be a victim and the qualified immunity. You know, Joe, what if you went the opposite way? I'll give you a crazy idea. What if you don't end the qualified immunity, but everybody gets it? It's just the way it works. The assumption is you are trying to stop a crime. Could you imagine how that would work? Imagine if the assumption was always you're trying to stop a crime. That's how it works with anyone else in government. People think qualified immunity is only for cops. It isn't. It's for all government officers. So it doesn't matter. The assumption is you're doing the right thing. Now, in theory, to your point, Joe, in theory, we should all have that because we're supposed to be equal under the law. It's supposed to be we're innocent until and unless proven guilty. But that's not the case, is it? The assumption is bad stuff. The assumption is, well, you did something bad, so you're gone. But I want to go one step further. I made you think about that one, Joe. One step further, though. I would ask you something. If you were to use a tool like a knife, a hatchet, and hurt somebody, attack somebody, put them in a hospital, of course, you should go to jail, assuming that you did it for a mean, horrible reason, assuming that you weren't defending yourself, right? Assuming you weren't defending yourself, right? So you do that. You go ahead and do that, and you go to jail. Okay. Would they then say, all right, you stabbed some guy, so you're going to jail for that, and we're going to throw on top of you the idea that you did it with a knife. If you did it with a bat, different charge. Knife murder or knife stabbing is different than bat smashing. Two separate laws. People would say, that seems dumb. He used a weapon. He hit somebody with a weapon. Clearly, that's a bad thing. Why does it matter if it's a knife or a bat or a hatchet? Who cares? We do it with guns, don't we? So some of these people have to go to jail because they had a gun. That makes it worse. Yes. In fact, the guy in the subway, He's going to jail because he had a gun. That's the reason. That's it. If he had thrown a bat at the guys, say he was going to baseball practice and he threw a bat at the guy. And here's the worst part. If he had taken a bat because he was going to, say, baseball practice, thrown the bat at the bat hit the guy backs off, falls into the train tracks, gets run over by a train, dies. That guy probably wouldn't be in jail right now. And if he would, he's out. Of course. Because he had a bat. Now, again, if he throws the bat at the guy and the guy stumbles, falls on the tracks, run by a train, dead, that's not as bad as firing a gun. To not hurt anybody. No one was hurt. Nobody hurt. It's crazy, isn't it? It's who we are. I'll go one step further. Could you harm somebody with rat poison? Of course you could, if you wanted to. Of course you could. So, can I, as a cop, pull you over, stop you in the street, search you, because I see you have rat traps. So that's my thought process. You're carrying a rat trap. Ha. Probable cause, you might have rat poison in your pocket. And guess what? You do. I see. I can tell the judge. I pulled Joe over. I grabbed him to the side because I saw him carrying rat traps. That was my reason for thinking he might have rat poison. So I got probable cause now. So I pull him over, go in his pocket, boom, rat poison. Put him in jail. What? Why? You can kill somebody with that. Possession of a deadly weapon. He should go to jail. You can kill somebody with that. You're laughing. Some of you right now are laughing, saying, Larry, that's stupid. Yeah. What's the difference in that and a firearm? Or a hatchet? Or a knife? This is our world. That guy who was clearly trying to stop a crime, his life is now over. He will be a felon. He will go to jail. Why? Because he had a gun. It doesn't matter. You don't have to do anything with that gun. You don't have to show it. Nothing. He had it. That's a fact. They'll find that. He is now a felon. His life is affected for the rest of his life. He may go to prison for many years. He may lose his job. He may lose his family. All because that guy thought, I didn't want some guy to rob some woman. So his reward is punishment. He gets punished for doing the right thing. That's our state. And we wonder why people aren't doing the right thing. Why are people not doing the right thing? Because your life is over when you do. That would be the reason. And all we're worried about is, well, I wonder whether Biden or Trump will be president. That's what we're concerned about. When right in our front yard, right in our own states, in our own cities, we are destroying our culture and encouraging men and women to do the wrong thing. Who cares who president is when I can't walk around my neighborhood, when I can't defend myself, when everybody around me is a victim? Do I care who the president is? I don't. I can't live. I'm not saying the president isn't important. It is, of course. But what affects you every single day? You might say, Larry, here you are talking about New York City. I don't live in New York City. Why do I care? You know what I'm going to say. But I'm going to say it anyway. Because it's coming to you. What happens in this terrible city will go every place across this country. Why do you think I keep fighting it? I'm here in the front line because it's coming to you. I'm trying to stop it. Am I nuts? Tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. Back with your calls and your chat. I see you after the break.
For truth and freedom.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Partly cloudy skies, a little frosty out there. We'll drop down near 30. On Wednesday, we'll have clouds giving way to a bit of sunshine, a milder breeze in the mid and upper 50s. A nice day Thursday, good deal of sunshine, and it will be warmer into the low 60s for Thursday. Enjoy it. Clouds will come in with some rain showers developing and falling temps on Friday and a chilly breeze heading into the weekend. I'm Rich Cornelia, WYSL.
Looking for more storage space? Who isn't? Springwater Amish Workshop offers a variety of styles and sizes of quality built storage buildings. Take advantage of their 3% discount on buildings when you pay with check or cash, or choose to pay by rent to own with no credit check. These buildings are constructed using premium grade lumber, and most carry a 30-year limited warranty. Currently in-stock gazebos and select sheds are on sale at rock bottom prices. End of your clearance sale price is now in effect on in-stock outdoor products. Take advantage of sale prices now by doing your Christmas shopping early. You can pay by layaway as well. Springwater Amish Workshop will store your gift until Christmas. All American made, mostly Amish built. Take the scenic drive to Springwater Amish Workshop. You'll be happy you did. 7936 Mill Street, Route 15 in Springwater. Open Monday through Friday 9 to 5 and Saturdays 9 to 3. Check out SpringwaterAmishWorkshop.com.
Every day can be a holiday in your new ride from Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 6484 Route 96 in Victor, where they're featuring a select inventory of Ram 2500 Power Wagon crew cabs, up to 15 grand off. Choose from 3. And check this. Lease a 2023 Jeep Compass Limited 4x4 SUV convertible at just $299 a month for 42 months. $2,500 down must be conquest or returning lessee. A 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee El Laredo 4x4 SUV is only $389 a month for 36 months. $2,500 down must be returning lessee. A 2024 Jeep Wrangler 4-door Willis 4XE convertible is just $359 a month for 36 months. $2,500 down. All lease deals require first payment, DMV, taxes, and fees due at signing. 10,000 miles per year. Other conditions may apply. See dealer for details. We welcome Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Macedon, Fairport, and Finger Lakes. Visit the most beautiful new vehicle sales and service dealership in the area, Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, now at 6484 Route 96, just east of Victor.
Oh, those injury attorney ads.
Hurt on your run? Call 11111.
It can be strangely amusing watching that injury attorney interviewing a tractor trailer. But while fun is fun, there's nothing amusing about getting your life back together after a personal injury or a motorcycle accident, or when you need defense for a DWI charge. Christopher Johnson takes your case seriously, and you'll feel like you're his only client because when you meet with him, your case gets 100% of his attention. So instead of cute singing jingles and magic phone numbers,
Hurt opening wine? Call 99999.
write this number down and keep it with you. 585-415-3803. 415-3803. After all, Christopher Johnson knows you're smarter than a mud flap. Get individual attention and integrity, experience, and expertise. Put the power of one on your legal team. 415-3803. Stay safe, be healthy, drive sober. Christopher Johnson Attorney, personal injury, car or motorcycle accidents, DWI defense.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
New from Air and More infrared zone heaters, just right for smaller spaces. The Comfort Buddy, a smaller heater for the guest room, laundry room, or sun porch. And the Comfort Buddy offers the famous Air and More advantages like no exposed hot surfaces, child and pet safety, plus big energy savings from turning down your furnace. You'll need this little guy to defeat those RG&E and NYSEG rate hikes. Buy direct and get the lowest web price. Use the promo code WYSL and save even more. Call 800-707-8725 or visit air-more.com.
Are you holiday shopping for the horse lover in your life? Patchwork Saddlery has gift certificates and stocking stuffers. Put your money where your heart is. Shop locally at Patchwork Saddlery, East Main Street, Avon, next to Tompkins Community Bank.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Yes, it is Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. 585-346-3000 is the number. And I've been chatting about victimhood across New York State and New York City in particular. And how, again, it isn't like people are even upset about this. In other words, the newspapers and the local news from the gentleman last weekend, who tried to stop a crime, they aren't saying would-be hero. They aren't saying good Samaritan. They aren't saying guy who didn't want to see a woman get robbed. Nope. He is vigilante. He is guy who's going to shoot people in the streets. That's what we're all saying. And you would think there'd be one newspaper who would say, what's going on here? One TV show that would say that. No, all 100% against the guy. I speak on this often. When you're arrested, the press is against you. The jury is against you. Unless this guy is wealthy, he's guilty and probably going to jail for trying to do the right thing. As Gene says in the chat, innocent until proven broke. I wish you were wrong. But Gene, you know, you are correct. Gene goes on to say, if it matters that much who the president is, then we've given the president too much power. Well, let me walk down that road, Gene. If we're all victims, none of us are responsible. None of us have any power. This kind of goes back to Zach's point. If we can't control our own lives, if we can't defend our own communities, if we can't defend our own lives or our own families, we've by default given that power over to the government. Just give it to them. I say this often, the exception of the lockdowns. That was an exception. Prior to that, it is very rare for Americans to have their rights just taken. Usually, we eagerly give them away because we're afraid. They went further on lockdowns, but we hardly fought them. We were like, well, okay, take some more, keep taking them, but I'm safe, right? And I think to your point, you said it perfectly. We have given the president too much power. He hasn't taken it. We gave it to him. Take it. Yeah. So the floor, pick it up. He said, okay. He picked it up. When we're afraid, when we're worried, we make mistakes. You're absolutely right. And it drives me crazy. If we were to take more charge of our own lives and not be victims, by default, the president would wind up having less power. Our governor would have less power, right? So we're focusing power on the individual because here's the other part. What happens in Congress, the assembly in New York State, and most states, but for sure in New York State, do they want to pass anything? No, then they're responsible. They just respond to budgets given to them by the governor. Why? If things go wrong, they're a victim. Even our assembly is victims. So even the people who were supposed to be electing who's supposed to be our leaders, I'm doing air quotes, supposed to be our leaders, even they want to be victims. Everybody wants to be a victim. My God. So now, what's the situation? What's the governor? Well, now the courts take the law and go, well, it's a law. And they move away. And everything goes to the Supreme Court. Because now even our judges, they're victims. Everyone's a victim. It's okay. Doesn't matter because our governor will save us. She's a superhuman and she'll save us. No, she won't. Because when things go wrong, what does she say? I need help from the federal government. She's a victim. They're all victims. Everyone's a victim. So who's not a victim? Well, in theory, not in practice, but in theory, the president. You're right, Gene. We have made the president the God Emperor, who is, I guess, infallible. I mean, if you ask him, I'm sure he would say that. And so would all his supporters. He's infallible. So maybe he is the God Emperor. That's our problem, Gene. You are correct. Nicholas says, we do have the Good Samaritan law in New York State. Expand that to protect someone who either intervenes to stop a crime against someone or themselves. You know, Nicholas, you brought this up, and that was part of my 2018 and part of my 2022 campaign. But I wanted to make it specifically. I had 3 points when it came to the Second Amendment I was trying to push in New York State. One of those points, if you remember, was if you draw your firearm in an attempt to stop a crime, that is not a crime. And currently it is. And that was my point. And it didn't matter whether that firearm was legally owned or not. That is a separate issue. If you stole a firearm, that's a crime. No worries. But that is your crime, stealing something, which is wrong and should be punished. But if I draw my weapon, that should not be a crime if I'm attempting to stop a crime. And the assumption, to Joe's point, should be anyone who does that, we should assume that's what they were trying to do. I completely agree. But gun laws in New York State have superseded Good Samaritan laws. Doesn't matter. So you get punished by the state no matter what. You don't get sued as much because of the Good Samaritan laws. That's true. But the state will still punish you. So no lawsuit for the people who are hurt. To hell with you guys. But instead, the state would just put you in jail. So I guess there's that. So there we go. Let me see if I can go in here. Joe says, there is an argument to be made, I think, that he escalated a robbery into a murder. Well, maybe. I could see that argument. But that's not what he's charged for. He's charged for having the gun. Right? And discharging the firearm. So maybe, right, again, if he had shot the guy, I could see the argument. Right? I can see the argument if he kills the guy. Not that I'd say he's wrong, to be forward with you. Because once you start violating someone's rights, it gets gray for me very fast. Right? Particularly if you don't know, was that guy going to kill that woman? Hurt that woman? Maybe, I don't know. So I can see the gray area. I can see the argument. But that's not what the argument is. They're like, well, it's attempted murder. Okay, I could see that. But that wasn't that. He clearly fired a warning shot. No one was hurt by it. So, yes, in theory, I don't think in this space that makes any sense. So, Joe also goes on to say something which I think is very funny. Joe says, the difference is we, the people, have the right to bear arms, not rat poison. If you were listening before the break, I was talking about carrying rat poison as a weapon. He says, so guns are less illegal than rat poison. Joe, there's actually an argument for that. Nicely done. I think we have to do that. We've got to take that to the Supreme Court. Which one is actually worse than the other? I do love that. That is awesome. Zach says, we just need to embrace a little anarchy. You know, Zach, I'm going to walk down a philosophical road for a moment, if you will indulge me. I don't like the word anarchy. Why? Because the average person sees anarchy as chaos. They see those words as the same. Now, you and I know they are not, but that is the connotation of the word. And people often get mad at me and go, I don't care what the connotation is. It's a dictionary that matters. And I'll argue it does not. What matters is how someone feels. I know some of you Ben Shapiro fans can be mad at me going, facts don't care about your feelings. Well, they should, because feelings are way more powerful than facts. Feelings make up facts. Feelings adjust facts. Feelings ignore facts. Feelings are way more powerful than facts. It's not even close. Facts will never win a battle with feelings. So I think we have to change that word, Zach. Philosophically, we got to change it to a bit more of a voluntary society. A little bit of a voluntary society. It's a lot better than the word anarchy. Am I wrong? 585-346-3000 is the number. Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. Back with your calls and your chat after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth.
Okay, we have Dave from Brockport, New York.
Intelligence have made
You're
cyber
welcome.
attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
The colors are red for valor, white for innocence, and blue for justice. Our nation's flag proclaims liberty for all, and our military service members continue to fight for the right to live in freedom. Honor their service and sacrifice with an American-made flag from the Stars and Stripes Flag Store. Visit eflagstore.com to shop now. All proceeds support Veterans Outreach Center and local veterans.
In 1926, the Avon Fire Department put an Aaron's Fox pumper into service. It now sits fully restored in a museum near Toronto. Avon has an opportunity to bring the Fox home for its 100th birthday for a fraction of its appraised value. The Aaron's Fox Full Circle Preservation Society needs your help. Look us up on Facebook or call 615-6463. Let's bring home the Fox.
Sharpe Radio on the WYSL stations.
It is Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. So happy that you're giving me a small chunk of your afternoon. We've been talking about victimhood and rewarding bad behavior and punishing good behavior. I hope we can make some changes here. I'm going to grab a call if I could. This is Dave from Brockport. How are you, sir?
I am great, Larry. Wonderful show, as usual.
Thank you.
What occurred to me, though, every time I listen to you, where in the world, and I'm not trying to pick you up, we're both happily married, right? Where in the world did you learn to think as logically and concisely as you do?
That is a good question. And I think because I've been a business consultant for almost 20 years, and most of my world is not politics, or now it is, but hasn't been. So what I've always tried to be doing is solving problems. I've recognized, and I've taught I'm a consultant, trainer, teacher for my day job. That's what I do. Mostly big business, which is why I live in New York City. So I've always recognized that in the long run, all good leaders are no longer just responsible for the accuracy of their communication. They're responsible for the outcome of their communication. So if I don't get what I want to achieve, I have failed, regardless of whether what I said was true or not, right? That is just an excuse. Well, I told him, so what? He didn't do it. Well, I gave him the information, so what? It didn't work. So I think from that, I'm always thinking, how do I get the outcome that I want? And how do I move people to make that happen? A second piece is I've been teaching what I call post-industrial leadership in colleges here in New York City for years. And post-industrial leadership is the idea that I don't need your arms and legs as much as I used to. Now I need your brain a whole lot more. I need your initiative. I need your ability to change and shift and adjust. I need your experience far more than I've ever needed before. To get that, I have to get buy-in from you. You have to believe in my mission. You've got to believe in the job itself. And millennials and Gen Zs believe that even more. So that's always what my mindset is. How do I get the most people on board to move towards a goal to get the results that I want? And I've been doing that for years. Does that answer your question?
I guess so, yeah. It's truly a gift, though, and I get myself into a pickle, personal life, work life, and I stop sometimes and I go, well, how would
Two
Larry
more
think
calls
about
on
this? How would
hold.
he address this? And it's just an amazing gift, and if you could pass that on or teach it to me, I'd greatly appreciate it. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Yes. And for those who don't know, I have taught it, and I do teach it. I do actually teach a decision-making class, all those types of things. So I do. So if you guys want to head over to my business, it is called The Neo Sage. There's a YouTube page and also a website. I don't really bring it up because I'm talking politics all the time. But if someone does care, The Neo Sage, you can actually Google it. That's my business. Okay, go on the call if I could. I have Roger from Nassau. How are you?
Hey, am I coming in clear? I hear a lot of popping.
No, you're clear. I hear you.
Another call on hold.
Okay. All right, so time for my weekly public service announcement to all New Yorkers.
You got to be quick. I don't have time. Got to be quick.
Okay. Support unite.org, issues advocacy, and then go to initiatives referendum. So this way we can get this to be a citizen ballot initiative state. Now, to the subject at hand of whose fault it is. The fault lies with the government, not us, not the person bullying, not the person who got killed. The fault is the fact that the government is not under citizen control through citizen ballot initiatives. Do voters in New York City have the right to run local measures? Yes, they do. But how many people know that? On top of that, we need robust, competitive public financing of ballot measures that can compete with corporate Wall Street money.
That's a hard one.
Where volunteers can leave their jobs and petition for signatures in phone bank full time. Also, Larry, the way you're presenting these questions is looking for answers on the back end after the deed is done instead of preventing it on the front end. Jordan Neely, why was he even homeless in the first place? On top of that,
valid question.
Why was he not in a mental institution?
Valid question.
He was probably off his meds. Daniel Penny, he was probably suffering from PTSD. If so, then why is the best healthcare system in the country, TRICARE, only for active service duty servicemen and women, not just extended to vets, but matter of fact, extended to all of us?
No argument for me. I think everything you said is correct. No argument. My point wasn't that the other people weren't guilty, is that they threw everything on one person versus, to your point, saying there was a systemic failure. I completely agree. No argument for me, brother.
That's it.
Thank you, Roger. Appreciate the call. I think Roger's right. It was a systemic failure.
Keith, Rochester.
Let me grab one more call if I could. Keith from Rochester. How are you, sir?
I just wanted to say very quickly on the tail end of the other previous two callers, the woke society with its constant victimization, I'm going to be blunt. I think after guys like you and me are gone, old school guys, really, and you with your vaunted business acumen, and I'm saying that politely, If I came back from the dead 50 years from now, I'm going to be very surprised. We have a functioning society. So many people today, Roger brought it up, the victimization, there's no accountability. And in closing, people today are just way too soft. We just brought people up. They're into materialism. The old example, you were in the Marines. The young people today could never hit the beaches at Normandy like they did on June 6, 1944. Heck, a lot of kids today don't even know that date. They don't even know Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 40. When we die, this is going to be a much sadder and troubled world. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Keith. I appreciate that. And look, part of what Keith is saying is one of the reasons why I keep doing what I do. I don't want Keith to be right. I'm not saying he's wrong. He may be right. What I'm saying is I don't want him to be right. I want to do the best that I can do so that if Keith comes back from the dead 50 years from now, he goes, man, Larry Sharpe fixed it. I'm impressed. Oh, my God. I got to go bring him back from the dead and shake his hand and say, well done. I'm hoping that we can do that. Keith, I get your point. I'm just trying my best to make you wrong. That's all I'm saying. So Straight Laxon says, TRICARE is amazing. Miss having it growing up. Thank you, service members. You know, I will say it again. This is a systemic issue. And what Keith is saying is correct too. He's saying as an individual, kind of so is, right, is everybody here. Meaning Roger's saying it too. He's saying while the system is broken, the individuals aren't taking charge of it to fix it because we should. Right to be forward, Penny, he's right. Roger's right. He should have been treated for PTSD. He should have been. And Neely shouldn't have been homeless. All of those things shouldn't have happened. So what do we do? To Keith's point, everybody's a victim. Nobody's responsible. The system is fine. Shut up and go back to sleep. Don't support your community. Don't support anything. Be quiet. It'll all be fine. And I think we know that if we are quiet, it won't all be fine. It will be a disaster. Joe says, I like this Unity guy. Hey, you got a fan, Roger. That's awesome. I love that. Nicholas says, my wife wrote your name into the ballot last week for supervisor of the town of Henrietta. Oh, guys, thank you. I appreciate that so much. Every little bit counts. And every time one of those Board of Elections guys sees my name, it's a little nudge. It's a little poke right into their ribs. Tell your wife I said thank you so much. Leela says, Larry, thank you for speaking about this victimhood topic. You have that ability to give us a very different perspective. I'm from San Francisco, California, and I understand this topic all too well. Well, thank you for that, Leela, because it isn't just New York City. I talk about New York City all the time because I live here. So, of course, right? I talk about what I see. I talk about what I live, of course. But it's everywhere, to lesser extents. I'm sure Keith sees it in Rochester, probably to a different amount that I see it, but I'm sure he sees it there too. And you see it in San Francisco. The difference is we have to try to fix it. Individually, we can be better and make this happen. Guys, thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all very soon.
Okay, talk to you next Tuesday.